I think we believe, and I think a lot of people in our community should believe, that Las Vegas needs a world-class stadium, needs something, has the potential to bring NFL, to bring soccer and other events here. And either you believe in the project or you don't. I believe in it very much, and I hope we can get it done.
2 months out, are you optimistic about the direction and be able to get all those things done?
A lot to be done. A lot of people to convince and a lot of people to understand the project. Am I optimistic? I'm always optimistic. I wake up optimistic every day. I think for Las Vegas, it's a legacy decision. It's a really important decision for the community. I hope we can get there. I think a lot of people understand the value of this. And while $750 is a lot of money by anyone's checkbook, there's a lot of value on the other side as well. NFL football, a covered stadium. We don't have the ability to compete with events we need to get in this town. This may get us there. I hope we can make an intelligent decision and move forward. The committee was great today. I think all the commissioners asked great questions, and a lot of things were uncovered, and I think we have to decide as a community if this makes sense. This is not a decision for my company or for my chairman. It's a decision for Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Sure.
Is 750, is that a hard number still at this point, or is there a possibility for that to change?
I think it's a hard number. I think it's a realistic number. As we said in the meeting today, this is a moving target. It's a very expensive project, and it's hard to. You can't nail it down and say this is for exactly the right number. Is it a little more, a little less? I don't know. We work with a lot of intelligent people who've done this dozens of times around the country. We're relying on their expertise and their input. I think we're in the right place. Yeah.
And then at the end of the meeting, you talked about traffic and roads. Can you just kind of reiterate where you're at on that? You would be willing to pay up to a certain point or whatever fits your model? Is that?
We only can spend so much money. At some point we say we walk away. This money is not endless, and we're not here to just underwrite what could be a very expensive proposition. At some point it stops making sense for my company to be involved in this. What that number is, when we talked about private funding for public roads, etc., that's to be determined. But I don't want to stand here today and tell you we have endless money. We don't. At some point we just can't do it. We're trying to lead what we think is a very important charge forward. NFL football, covered stadium, Major League Soccer, perhaps other things, pretty amazing things, college football. Great for Las Vegas, but there's a price to it. At some point, we can't be the lone providers of capital.
So you feel confident, again, on the private side, you're stretching your dollars, you're putting in as much as you can?
It's a negotiation process like everything in life, and we're trying to get to the right place for the community. Again, we're doing this because we believe strongly in Las Vegas, and we're big believers in it. Mr. Adelson and his family have been big investors in this community. We believe in it. We love living here, love being here, and the point is we're trying to make it better. This just makes it better.
Well, I think there was great progress today in the Tourism Committee, as you saw, just like we did at the last meeting where we dug into the details of the financing on the Convention Center project. Today we really got into the business model of the stadium project, and it's starting to look like this is feasible. There's a way to get this thing done financially, so I'd say a lot of progress today.
Where do you see give and take? I mean, everybody talks about the $750 million. Do you see that there needs to be some movement there on that number?
I think there does, and I think there will be, and I think you saw a pathway forward for that today. Just like we did on the Convention Center, we figured out some ways that we could actually get that public component down a little bit. I think it's well worth it. We're talking about a relatively small incremental addition to the room tax that tourists will pay when they come to stay here, that in effect becomes an investment in the future of this city. And so I think that's a great investment to have tourists invest in the future of the city and putting this large stadium project in place for us. I think it's worth it.
You could greenlight the room tax, just put it through, but we're already increasing it by 0.5% for the Convention Authority. And what that means is basically if someone rents a room at one of our local resort casinos and the room is $100, they currently pay a room tax of about $12. It's about 12%, I think. It would go to $12.50. So there would be a 50-cent delta or increase in there that they would put in. That would pay for the Convention Center. Now, whether you add another 0.5% or another 1%, so potentially it could go from 12 to, let's say, 13.5%, so that room would go up by $1.50, that the person coming into town. Now, is that going to prevent somebody, the discussion, or is that going to prevent somebody from coming? Are you going to spend $1 less 50 in a slot machine? Are they going to eat one less hamburger or buy one less Starbucks? Who knows how they're going to, are they going to spend another $1.50 for every night that they're here? That's what we're coming down to in the hotels. It's an elastic situation. More expensive rooms come, the more difficult it is to attract people. So you have to find a balance. I think that they're within reason here in terms of the percentages.
So you're optimistic about the direction. I'll kind of pair it against Goldstein. He says he's cautiously optimistic. Do you kind of fall in
I
that
think
vein?
I would echo Mr. Goldstein's. I'm cautiously optimistic as well. I think that we made a lot of inroads today. We covered a lot of ground, and I was positive coming out of today.
Perfect.
Very
Thank you, sir.
encouraged. You bet.
So Steve, I was really active on social media tweeting about this stuff, and I'm sure you get the feedback too. It's just
I do.
not a lot of people are comfortable saying that they're essentially subsidizing Sheldon Adelson to build this thing.
Right.
What's your response to that?
Well, it's not really a direct subsidy to Sheldon Adelson. What is done is you're building a facility, and it's a subsidy to the stadium being built. It's not a direct flow into him, and it's not going from the taxpayer into his pocket. What's happening, if the stadium is successful, he will definitely get a return on the investment he's put in. If it's not successful, he's going to lose more money on the stadium that we're building. He's obligated himself for all of those costs, whether they're increased expenses or increased revenues. So there has to be some type of public contribution that goes into this because it is a redevelopment type workforce development project. How much that should be remains to be seen, and it's just the way the numbers are going to pencil out at the end.
And then how much of this public input, stuff like that, or do you think you or the committee is kind of weighing as you guys make a final?
The public input is extremely important to me. I talk to my constituents every single day. You know, they have a threshold that they're willing to go to, and they're not willing to exceed that threshold. Different people have different thresholds, and you try to find the balance. Almost to a person, everybody wants to get an NFL team here. I think it would be incredible for this city. I think having a stadium, a dome stadium here would be great for our community. How you pay for it is an entirely another issue. And that's what I'm trying to deal with now in terms of balancing this, the juggling act. What do you really want, and who's going to pay for it, and how much is it going to cost? So that's what we have to drill down to in the next few meetings to get a clear answer.